The difference between the Pacers at home and the road, especially Halliburton, is really different. So what I would just say to the Celtics is, if you mess around and lose at home, like you have for years now,
yeah,
the assumption that you can just win, get it back on the road like they did in the first two series, I would just warn them about that. In fact, that would almost be my biggest thing I would say between the Pacers and the other teams. The Heat dropped 2 at home to the Celtics. The Cavs dropped 2 at home to the Celtics. They were competitive, but the Celtics didn't really have to work that hard. They should not assume that they're going to go into Indy because they play differently there and it's a tough environment.
Brian Windhorst on Get Up earlier today. I'm sorry, First Take? I forget where I saw that. Somewhere on ESPN.
One of those shows.
They all run together.
It was on the Sheriff's back in. They are that at high noon.
So when it comes to the Pacers, he's half right. In the postseason, they've been a very good home team. And you just saw it against New York last round. Like, the Knicks went up, Pacers evened up, the Knicks went back up, Pacers evened again, and then went into MSG and won a Game 7. Those numbers do not hold up in the regular season. So, is it a small sample size? Is it a team finding their stride? Is Indiana a hostile environment for the Celtics? We'll see. The truth, though, is so far, the Celtics have been able to stub their toe at home, and it hasn't come back to bite them. Will that hold true? Have they gotten into some bad habits about losing games at home? The last few postseasons, this postseason as well. And can they overcome that? We'll get into it, but it's 2 for Tuesday here on WEEI.
What is it?
It's a 2 for Tuesday. 2 for Tuesday.
Let's roll.
Be caller 9 right now to the contest line, 617-931-0937. You get 2 tickets. See the Red Sox take on the Milwaukee Brewers this Saturday at Fenway Park. It's all part of a 2 for Tuesday on WEEI. Started with the Greg Hill Show this morning. Continued through Gresham Fourier, and we have our first of 2 pairs of tickets we're giving away today. The next pair will be at 3:30. But have your opportunity to win right now by being caller number 9 to the contest line, 617-931-0937. 2 tickets, Red Sox Brewers, this Saturday, Fenway Park. It's 2 for Tuesday here on WEEI. Let me give you a couple more numbers on the Celtics at home, because I'd like to focus more on them necessarily than the Indiana Pacers. Historically, I'll give you some numbers in the postseason. Historically, home teams fare very well in the conference finals. They win about 65% of their home games, 295 and 161 since 1984. But recently, that has not been the case, league-wide or, of course, with the Celtics. Home teams in the conference finals over the last few seasons are 16 and 19 over the last 3 years. The Celtics, meanwhile, have lost 4 of their last 5 game ones of the conference finals, dating back to 2017, including a series opening defeat at TD Garden against the Heat last year. They're 16 and 15 in their last 31 home playoff games dating back to 2021. They lost 3 or 4 home games against the Heat in last year's Eastern Conference Final. So, to me, it's less about the Pacers and what Windhorst is saying. It's more about the Celtics. If they screw around and if they drop some of these home games, Mego, are they going to be able to overcome it the deeper we get in the postseason?
At least in the Eastern Conference Finals, yeah. Because I just like this matchup for them so much against Indiana. So I don't really see something like if they drop the game tonight, which for the record, I don't think they're going to do. If they drop game 2, which seems more likely because of the pattern that they've fallen into, where they kind of fall asleep in game 2, go cold, let the other team take command, and then decide to get back to business game 3 and 4. I like this matchup for them so much that I don't really think it matters. Like, I don't have real concern for it. Also, just another stat to throw at you, at home in head-to-head matchups, in the last 9 meetings in Boston between these two teams, the Celtics are 8-1 against the Pacers. So, of course, regular season is different than postseason.
Pacers have changed a lot, too, right? They traded for Siakam, so their team has changed a lot.
It's just if we're throwing these stats around, they've been great at home in the regular season. I am frustrated by the game 2 naps that they take so far through the postseason, but I don't look at it and go like, oh my God, they can't afford to lose one of these 2 games, because I do think it's going to go to 6. So I think they're going to lose one, and it's just going to be kind of the bumps that go along in the playoffs.
So, look, I'm with you to a degree. Like, do I think the Pacers are the kind of team that it's going to come back to bite them against? No. But I do believe somewhere along the line you have to defend home court. Like, you're not just going to do that all the way to an NBA championship.
And they've largely done that. They're 37-4 at home in the regular season when they've been rolling over most teams.
And they've already lost 2 games in the postseason. So they've
not good.
They look. I mean, you can look at it one way and say they're what 6-2 at home. Is that right? Off the top of my head. Yeah, 6-2, right. 6-2 at home, right? And so on the one hand, you can look at that and say, boy, that's pretty good. On the other hand, you could say they only lost 4 games at home all year, and then so far through 2 rounds of the playoffs, they've already lost half as many in the postseason. And so, look, I just think somewhere along the line, Arkan, they better figure out how to defend their home court, because I don't think they're going to win a championship, and it will come back to bite them. Maybe this round, though, I doubt it. Definitely in the NBA Finals if they can't figure that out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, I don't really know what to expect here. I do think that the Pacers win one of these games. I do. I think they're going to win one of these 2 games. I don't think they'll win both of them. But I also remember last year, the Celtics coming out of that Philly series with all this momentum. They just had this crazy game in Game 7 with Jason Tatum, and they came back, and it seemed like it was this preordained thing again, like it always is every year with these Celtics. It seems like it was their destiny to go on to the championship, and then they lost the first 3 games of the next series to Miami. So it's like, you're not playing Miami here. I get that. It's Indiana. But I don't know what Celtics we're going to get. I don't know what kind of focus we're going to see. I have no idea, because last year, what I thought was going to be just a tidal wave going into Miami, or I guess Miami coming out to Boston, but you know what I mean, in that series, was the exact opposite. They went out there and they got punched in the face, and they didn't recover until Game 4. So I'd like to say that this team's different. There's some ways in which they certainly are, and the field's different here, but I don't know when it comes to this team and these guys and this group and how they sort of look at the playoffs and look at what they have to do to get to that next level. I'm not sure what to expect. I'm really not.
So to circle back to that poll, and it's up now at Jones and Mego, you can vote in on the phone, 617-779-7937, or call us up on the phones, rather. Overall talent, 53%. That's how I voted. That's how Mego voted. The field is how Arkan voted. That's 17%. Tatum's growth, only 9%. That's actually in last place, which is interesting. I don't know if people feel like Tatum's been at this level for a while. He's already made a leap. Maybe that's something they're still questioning. But
that's about the playoffs so far.
You think that's about his postseason thus far?
That's what I would guess.
Interesting.
It's definitely about the playoffs so far.
Interesting. I find it noteworthy that that's last, but let's put that to the side for a second.
Tatum had a better year than last year? Like, statistically, he has. Last year, he averaged 30 points a game. He's more efficient, maybe, but, I think if you looked at these 2 years and said which year was Jason Tatum better in, people would say last year.
He's plateaued a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so maybe that's how people are voting. Also, they aren't different. 21% of fans say that. And so, look, you can look at that a couple of different ways. 79% think they've changed for various reasons. 21% say they haven't changed. But the second most likely answer in that poll is they're not different. So there's still a chunk of people out there that don't fully believe. The Twitch chat is saying that. Twitch.tv/Boston WEEI. Dark and Stormy Night says Arkan Sneaky doesn't believe. I mean, you do have this going 7.
Yeah, I do. I think they can win it in 7. I think they will win in 7.
You don't believe?
But I don't think that it's going to be some walkover series. I just don't. I think that if you're losing games at home to the likes of Miami and the likes of Cleveland,
Pacers? That's about the Celtics, right? That's not about the Pacers. That's about the Celtics.
It's about the Pacers being much, much better than the 2 teams they just played. I think it has a little bit to do with that too. Not as much. Yeah, I think it's mostly a Celtics thing. But you're going against a team at full strength with their all-stars playing, and one position maybe, I'd take Turner over Horford. That's one position where I think they have the advantage. And I'd probably take Halliburton over either of your 2 guards, too. I know they'd be the 3rd on the team, but matchup-wise, this isn't a great matchup for the Celtics.
Me and you both drafted it the same way. I'd take Tatum and Brown and then Halliburton in the series, which means I would take those guys over Derek White, or him rather over Derek White. I'd take him over Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
So I would look at that similarly. But no, I think this is a bad series to really learn much about the Celtics. The stubbing their toe at home and things like that, because I really don't believe in Indiana on the other side.
You know what would help with the stubbing the toe? Steel-toed cowboy boots.
That would help.
If you want to be the sheriff, you better start dressing for the role.
That would help for the sheriff, indeed. But, when
is he on his way, or is there a new sheriff in town? Those are 2 different things.
When it comes to this team, if they screw around, are the Pacers going to be able to take advantage of it? Because they screwed around against Miami, and they screwed around against Cleveland. Those teams couldn't.